Welcome to everyone to Sauce Time Gaming. Thank you so much for clicking on today's video once again. And today we're going to be covering the Whitley LMG. And as you saw from the title and thumbnail, it's an interesting LMG to say the least, because it's one of the newest weapons that was added to Warzone Pacific. However, people are just not talking about it, and it might be for a lot of reasons, right? Maybe the leveling for the weapon is slow. Maybe because it's an LMG, it doesn't tend to be as popular overall. However, through the testing and throughout this video, you're going to see that this weapon is just not what maybe we would have wanted. It's just got so many things that are going against a viable weapon in Warzone that I think even those that were able to unlock it and unfortunately spent their time leveling it up really discovered that the weapon wasn't anything special. And today we're just going to be covering the testing and the best recoil build for the weapon. So if you are interested in the Whitley and you really want to give it a shot, then at least you are pretty much guided in the right direction as to how to build it for long range engagements. So without further ado, let's get right into the testing. So, as we were covering the testing for the weapon here, personally, as I was testing the weapon, it was a little bit annoying because it didn't have big enough walls to be able to test the full magazine side on it. So it was a little complicated in that sense, but I went ahead and tested approximately 40 bullets on each attachment, and then these are the results that we were able to get based on each one. I think this is the first weapon that we're testing formally in the Recoil Breakdown series with the changes to the suppressors. Which is cool. You're able to see the results there, and a couple of things about the Whitley that pretty much were kind of apparent the moment you pick the weapon up is that the weapon is extremely heavy, right? I guess you could say it's characteristic to an LMG because the aim down sight speed is super slow. In regards to the fire rate, it has a very low fire rate, and the kick overall is pretty high, but because of that low fire rate, it's very easy to control. Now, as we're going to talk about later on in the build here, the weapon itself has a lot of visual obstruction going on. So what makes it difficult to be used is the fact that when you're shooting, you're just getting so much smoke on the weapon that it's making it very difficult to kind of look at your target. And because the weapon itself, when you add a sight that has a little bit more zoom to it, you're getting a lot of this visual recoil effect overall. And it just makes the weapon weird to use, although the recoil itself is very easy to control. And once you actually start stacking attachments up, the recoil patterns don't get too different. However, the visual part of it, and maybe it's something else, but overall I felt that the visual effect that this weapon has is really what pulls it down mostly. So the testing here, we were able to cover that, and just overall with all the testing we were able to run with every single attachment. This is the best build we were able to pretty much come up with. So let's go ahead and talk about that build. So the build for the Whitley at this point, based on all the testing I've done, I've tried so many different attachments. Of course, I haven't gone through the, I think, 200 plus different combinations you can have for a weapon. But in all honesty, this is pretty much the skeleton build of it. You want to run the Gracie Mark 9. This one gives you the best recoil control. There's something with this barrel that seems to increase damage a ton, but I mean, the main issue of this weapon is the fact that it has so much visual recoil that it just doesn't make it viable. It feels like your screen is shaking way more than maybe it is, than maybe the weapon is itself. And the recoil pattern is extremely easy to control, as you can see right here. But the problem is that you're just getting so much visual shake. The fire rate isn't the best, and if you do want to run the Gracie Rapid, the fire rate just gets incredibly fast, and it gets very, very difficult to control. It has a lot of side-to-side wobble as well. So the Gracie Mark 9 just gives you the best recoil pattern, although it's still not, you know, the most viable. Hard scope, fully loaded is kind of up to you. Lengthen is up to you as well, but pretty much if you're running the Gracie Mark 9 and hard scope, these are the best attachments for the skeleton build itself. For the muzzle, you can run the recoil booster or the MX silencer. They both give you a pretty similar recoil pattern horizontally. They're pretty much the same. The MX silencer just produces about 3 to 5 bullets vertically. So really, whatever you prefer to run, that would be up to you. In regards to the stocks, you can run the CGC R4 or the CGC R2 padded. Both of these control the recoil fairly similarly, so it's just a matter of getting extra mobility with the CGC R4, or getting the extra benefit of being mounted, crouched, or prone to get that extra recoil control, um, which it doesn't really solve the problem because you can control this weapon vertically. It's that side to side and the visual recoil, so either one of these is up to you. In regards to the rear grip, you can run the pine tar grip or the polymer grip. The hatch grip doesn't have the horizontal recoil control as it normally does, which I think is weird. I think overall this weapon has a lot of bugged attachments, and I feel that they have to buff it a little bit to make it viable, or just adjust whatever is wrong with it. But you can run the polymer grip or the pine tar grip. I'll run polymer just because the ADS speed on this weapon is already extremely slow. And then regarding the underbarrel, you can do carbon foregrip, M1941 hand stop, or the bipod. The bipod is of course going to give you the best recoil control if you're crouched or prone, but it's a conditional recoil, so I'm not even going to recommend a whole build for that. I'd run probably the M1941 to reduce the horizontal wobble, and then the magazine you can run the to get extra recoil control, the .303 British 45 round, or just run maybe the 120 round. The recoil itself doesn't look too different, but because of the slow fire rate, it just might not be viable in that sense. So yeah, you can run that. If you're running the .303 British 45, run lengthen to compensate for the bullet velocity, then fully loaded here probably. And this is essentially the best Whitley build, but unfortunately not a build I'll be trying out anytime soon consistently. So yeah. And there you have it, the best recoil, sort of best recoil build for the Whitley LMG. Now, I would like to thank you so much for reaching this point of the video, and I would love to know in the comment section down below, what do you think of this LMG? Do you think that it's got too much visual recoil to be viable? Do you think the weapon is good in any way? Do you enjoy the weapon personally? And if you did enjoy the build that we covered today, then let me know all those thoughts down in the comment section below. But hopefully the build does work for you if you do go ahead and level the weapon up. And I'm pretty much expecting a buff for this moving forward into the season, because it's there's pretty much no sense in using this weapon at the current time. It's just too slow and it's got too many cons to be viable. So that's pretty much my thoughts on the weapon, but if you think anything different as well, let me know in the comment section down below. If you do want to check out the rest of the Recoil Breakdown series, then you can click it on the link up here. And if you did like the video, just click on that like button down below. If you want to watch all the regulars for Sauce Time Gaming, subscribe to the channel. I really, truly appreciate it. Now, if you're more of a fan of the KGM40, then at the end of this video, you can click on the Recoil Breakdown series for that. That is personally one of my favorite weapons right now, and it's got some very clean iron sights, which I didn't cover in the video, but I do have a video for that coming out very soon. With nothing else left to say, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. Again, thank you so much for clicking on today's video, for being part of the channel if you are. And until the next one, I hope you always remember, Sauce Time Gaming.